And I look forward to that because there were a lot of things you were going through, and I wish I could have been around to help you, but at the same time, it wasn't God's timing. You know what I mean?
Sure, and you were going through your own stuff. I mean, like, so when we met, I was married with kids, and you were literally
That's
like
true.
the starving artist. I mean, you were the
Well,
guy that
it's,
was
I was,
dedicated to the art. You know,
I mean, I still am, but
exactly.
it's but you know what's funny about all that? It's like some people, God has given all of us a certain temperament, and the temperament He gave me, fortunately for me, if you knew my grandmother, you would know me. So my grandmother had this very happy-go-lucky attitude towards life. Nothing really got her down for longer than 10 minutes. She was everybody's friend. Does it sound like someone you know?
Yeah.
So the
Sounds
point
like a
is, like,
dude. Sounds like a brother I know.
right. So what I'm saying is, like, life has been so much harder for other people, man. And my friend Julie said this to me once. She's like, "Hey, you know what, Eric? Um, I don't think that you can really relate to other people's problems because you are naturally like this bounce back kind of person." And so I've told God this in prayer recently. I said, you know, God, you've allowed my life to never be too bad or never to be too good. And I'm kind of always been in this just regular happy place where I'm accepting of things and always have a new bright idea. But that's a gift God gave me, to be kind of content and ambitious at the same time. But it's interesting for me to hear like stuff you've gone through and everything. And it makes me like go, wow, like I never knew he was going through all these hard times because we always, like I said, when we got together, we always kind of it was always about fun and having a good time and stuff. So it's interesting now to see. I didn't expect this, man. I didn't expect you to call me and be like, oh, I've turned my life over to Jesus. It happened right after Russell Brand got saved or during that same time. So I was like, this is interesting. And then Blaine Ziegler, you remember he played shows with us.
Yeah.
He's following the Lord now too. So it's interesting who like God's assembling like a bunch of different brothers in the same realm right now.
I've noticed that too, and my whole like so one of the questions, like, because when I do like the podcast itself, I'm going to do 20 questions, right? And one of them is,
Right.
how long have you walked with the Lord? Now, this is it's an interesting question because this dude told me, he asked me, right? He says, how long have you walked with the Lord? And I said, well, for me, it's a, like, what do you mean by the question? Because I said, well, look, I've been coming to this church here for about less than a year. And he goes, that's not what I asked you. And I was like, I know, but but I have to start there because it's not just since a certain time. I'm like, if people ask me, well, when did you get saved? I'm like, that's hard to answer. Like, I don't know when I got
Right.
saved, right? I can tell you when the
Right.
process started, right? Some people know, like, I got saved at this day, at this time, and it was like in the fall,
Right.
and they can give you the date, time, location. It's like, for me, it wasn't the getting saved part. The time, like, I can tell you when I finally relented, right? I know that exact
Right.
moment, right?
Right.
When I
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
when I literally threw my hands up, and I was like, fine, you don't want me to drive the boat, right? So okay, you
Right.
don't want me to steer the ship. Okay, fine, you do it. Like, I can tell you when that happened. Does that mean I was saved at that point? No, but that's the point that I started, right? That's when I finally relented and gave my will over. I just was like, all right, your will be done, not mine, because I'm trying to do it my way, because it's me, but that's not what you want, and I keep fighting against it, and everything's going wrong, and I was about to eat a bullet. So, well, I'll try it your way. I'll try it your way. And so,
All
and
right,
things.
dude. Like when I hear you say that, it's blowing my mind, man. I was like, it's funny because you don't think like the people you think who would never shoot themselves are the people who shoot themselves. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Well,
dude, I would never think that you would ever do that because think about it. Like to me and to the world, you put out this image. Like, you were a really strong male who had all this wisdom. And even though you had your problems, you still had your wisdom. And like, think about it, you ran a martial arts school, man. I mean, to from the outside, I was like, man, like, Juice has really done well. He has this, great martial arts school. He's living the dream, and he's got children. And to me, children are like a huge blessing. Like I'm sitting here, a single guy, can't even find a girl to have a relationship with,
Yeah, but
and
to that
God's giving
point,
you children and stuff,
right? Well,
huh?
but Proverbs 31, who can find a good wife? Like, it's
It's
hard.
what, well, I think it was easier back then, but
Well, no, it's a
now it's kind of
proverb.
like
Even back then, it was rare. That's how rare it was. Even back then, like her value is far above rubies. That's how rare she is. And this is like during the time of Moses. I mean, that's like how, or not. Well, I don't know how.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. I don't know because I was watching this movie last night. Have you ever seen the it's called the Before trilogy?
No.
You'd love it. Trust me, you'd love it.
All right, I'll check it out.
But anyway, dude, it's a masterpiece, and there's been nothing like it ever made in the history of film. But anyway, so in the movie, they're talking about relationships, and one of the questions I think they ask each other in the movie is like, well, how many people do you really know that have successful relationships? And because like from the outside, people are like, oh, I want to be with someone. But if you actually put it on if you're actually really dissecting it, there's only a few couples out there that actually not only are in a relationship, but they're actually in a successful, happy, and healthy relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And my question for them would be, what's the secret sauce that makes that work, right?